Wow. We needed to stop the video for a moment because I got interrupted, such as an important moment. As you know, that's every time when you want to tell something very important to wake up humanity or whatever, you get interrupted. A child start to molest you, or a dog. That was actually now the case because somebody was asking if I saw a dog. Anyhow, to come back to our story, man. To come back to our story. I also just need to refresh my mind where we were. Yeah, my dad. Yes, and with Nonco Ludo, the man that took care of my father, that he saw as his stepdad also, kind of, and we saw it as an uncle, Nonco Ludo. Before the first 7 years, that I also stayed there for a month, or I don't know how long it was, inside of this house. And as you then know, or my father even forgot, I don't know, but he took the risk that he let sleep his own children, his two beautiful little boys, because it was me, my brother, and my two sisters. I don't know if my sister Whitney was at that point with us, because there was a certain point Whitney was taking away from our family, because the father, real father from Whitney, suddenly was with the court system, and suddenly they had the 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 power to take care of Whitney. That broke my mom's heart for sure. But this is a very interesting detail, by the way. So anyhow, that my dad took the risk that his beautiful boys could sleep in that house of Nonco Ludo that sexually abused him. And always everyone thought this Nonco Ludo, as my mom recognized, that he loved boys. And he was already staying around young boys all the time, somehow. We slept there, and this Nonco Ludo also had children. He had a wife, and 5 other children that were girls. Wow, and as far as I can remember also, that I tried to have sex with his children while I was little as well. And at a certain moment I was in a room and I was trying to have sex with the oldest of the children that was a little bit younger as me, but me as an innocent boy, didn't know what I was doing, had no clue, and was programmed already to have sex and wanted to have sex. Is this a programmation? Was this a spirit behind identity, a dark force? How you want to call it, it isn't good at all. It's bad, negative, evil. I remember very well when I was trying to have sex with this girl that suddenly I kind of woke up like, whoa, what is happening? And I remember there was like a kind of a red light somewhere. Maybe this was a camera filming, yes. And suddenly Nonco Ludo come inside and the actions were stopped somehow. Very weird, huh? As you know, we stayed alone with this man also in his house, and the children, and maybe with other men. So this is already one part of what happened to me and what I also did. I'm not speaking what happened in my own family. To continue the story. Yeah, it's I also just need to think a little bit, because there's a lot of things, there's a lot of things. To come back to that story, that my sister was taken away from the family and then starting to come back to us, I knew from that moment there was something between my sister going on, you know. We already were starting to play like the Lion King, like Kung Fu and Kiara, and starting to do like lions, and we starting to do nice to each other, and we started to kiss each other already. And as far as I know how old I was, I think maybe 12 or 13, that I remembered then for me at that moment that I lost my virginity by my own sister, and my sister lost her virginity by me. And it was something that was controlling us. Somehow, was it our own actions that we choose to do these things. But as you know, I didn't tell you yet, but our childhood was very crazy. Our dad was traumatized. Yes. As far we know, he didn't do anything with us, but he used physical and verbal violence, you know. Even that my mom was pregnant and I was inside of the belly of my mom got beaten off by my dad because he just thought she had sex with another man. As my mom was sleeping on a bed and my dad comes home from whatever he was doing, stealing something, taking amphetamine or coke or cocaine, whatever, coming home, turning up turning the bed upside down and jumping on the bed. As you know that you as a child already experience the emotions and the environments as your mom have, that I was a baby already born, you know, with traumas. And of course that my mom also had sex while she was pregnant with my dad. And I cannot never believe it was out of love my dad was having sex with my mom at that moment. So at this point, I don't think it's a good thing that a woman have sex with a man that is possessed, is traumatized, and feeling his desires. And then having sex, then it's all connected and interconnected, and then I was a baby already born sexualized. You know, as far as I can remember, I was 3, 4, 5, and I knew what was sex, as it was on the television as well, as we had channels with porn channels that was just available there, open for us. Even there was a code, we knew what was the code somehow. So me and my brother and my sisters, when mom and dad left us alone for a moment, the first thing we did was putting these channels on from pornography. And as you know, our dad was very violently, you know, as, don't forget, I forgive my father for everything, because I know it's the evil doing that, the evil, the shaitan, and all his spirits and his workers for him. I knew that's the reason we also start to have sex with each other as brothers and sisters, doing incest, because it's actually kind of normalized and it's hanging around this atmosphere, yes? As I had sexual contact with my brother, giving oral, just giving sexual contact with each other, as I was younger than 7 and older. I also did it when I was older than 7. Of course, I was programmed like this. With my brother, with my sister Whitney, a lot. My sister Whitney, with my brother Sandor. They also had a lot of time sex with each other, yes. Some crazy games and whatever. With my little sister Naomi, that is... I was already older, as maybe 13, 14 years, 15, and I didn't want to have sex with my Whitney anymore. Somehow I wanted to do it also with my other sister Naomi, and somehow it also ended up like that, our little sister Naomi, that was at that time maybe 5 or 6, and my brother is also some years older than my sister, and I'm all the oldest. The age all doesn't matter, because if you believe in magic and traumatization, then you know it's not our fault and we didn't have a choice at that moment. And we didn't know anything better, and we start to do things that feels nice. Yes, as we lived in an environment where there was a lot of violence, that sometimes I thought my brother or sister was beaten to death by my father, or sometimes my mother, that we were outside in the room, scared as always, and hearing all the noise, breaking things, furniture go broken, plates go broken, glass, yelling, beating. At certain point we were used to it. So I remember at one point I was going down to look what was happening, you know, because it was suddenly quiet, and I see my mom laying on the table. On the table we eat, with the biggest knife in her back, you know. She had a big jacket on somehow, but it was in her back. as you know, if you're a child from 8 or more or less or 9, and you see certain things and you already accept like, huh, I think my mom now is dead, you know, that you already see these things and accept. And if you then look into the programmation and about a foundation of a human being and how you're programmed, of course I was sick in my mind. I was traumatized, you know, Babylonized. I was a victim first class of the Babylon. Even I didn't show, because behind that, you know, or let us say in the front of that, I had that image in society that was a very active child, very healthy, beautiful maybe as well, going to school, also going to the playground and going to the forest and climbing into trees with my brother. We did all these things, also the nice things, but behind that there was this Natalino that was searching around and knowing that it was wrong to feel my desires to have sex with everything I saw, everything I could, inclusive dogs. I tried to have sex, and even on a later age I tried to have sex. When I was maybe 21 or 22, I tried to have sex with a dog when I was drunken, because of the whiskey, because of drinking alcohol, because of alcohol is so accepted in this society. They let drink people alcohol while they don't know they're traumatized. And I tried to kill people 4 or 5 times in my life, really being that close to take somebody's life, to really cut somebody's head off. Thanks to God, alhamdulillah, that I never did that, but all these other things I did. So as this is a confession for you, for some details about my past, I just want to show you what is the possibility of transforming and having no shame talking about these things, because that's the key. We need to go back, we need to dig up the roots, we need to see what has happened with us as children, our innocent children. And as we know and believe that there are possessions as identities, devils, demons, spirits that can let you do certain things, or let you even think that things are acceptable. But for a long time I believed I was a normal man, that it was all normal. This is happening, sex inside of the family, sex with your brothers and your sisters, feeling your desires. I just thought I was a very healthy man, as my dad also programmed me by saying, oh my son, I only had 2 women in my life, please have so much sex you can with so much women as you can. And as I did, man, I had sex with so many women, young, old and oldest, from being very young, 14, 15, from people of my own age, from people from 30, 40, from even people, women from 65 almost. That was a client in the restaurant and getting drunk and having sex with this woman because I thought she deserved. And but this is all the desire. This had nothing to do with love, man. So yeah, man, this was it. Kind of a confession of Natalino Barocci, that founded the Ark of Natalino, that represents the healing of the nations and is giving the people hope in humanity and transformation. Doesn't matter what you did or what you do or how you thought. And to add something to that, what happened to me some almost 4 years ago now, huh? As I already was on my journey with the healing journey, yeah, doing a lot of inner side work, yes, because I knew something was wrong with me. That alcohol showed me, actually, because always when I drink alcohol I would do the most crazy things and had the most crazy sex and filming my desires, putting a nice face to someone, just to have sex with his own woman, for example. Been there, done that. I'm guilty, And astaghfirullah, God forgive me for all these things, and I know I forgave myself already for all these things. But it's confession time, and we have no shame, and we have nothing to lose, only to win and to transform. What I want to tell, as you know or you don't know, I have a child in Brazil, you know. My child is at this moment now 8. Something happened, God, thank you. I never did something wrong with my own child, with my beautiful daughter Lorena. But the last time I saw her, when I was already busy with doing ayahuasca and transformation and healing my traumas, I went healthy to and sober to Brazil, because I thought I'm gonna be like my daughter, yeah. But in all these years that you just have some clue in your mind, huh? In all these years, I knew I had some attraction, you know, to beautiful little girls, and never did something wrong. As I'm at this stage, yes, and in this age of my transformation, let us say. My daughter was 5, and at a certain point I felt a sexual attraction to my daughter, man, to Lorena. Of course, it was a shock, eh? Don't know what to do with this. Of course, you're not so aware, still not aware about jinns and spirits and all these things. I confess that at one certain point that I had Lorena with me, I had on my own room somewhere, and she was laying in a kind of a position, and I was like, it turned me on, so I was starting to make pictures. At that same moment I dropped my phone. I was like, what I am doing, man, what I am doing. I called to my mom to explain her, you know, and I was already busy with ayahuasca, doing massive transformations, as I speaking about going back in time, going back inside of the womb of my mom to have a time with peace, love and harmony, to get born again. That's massive transformation, and that changed me a lot. That changed from the scared Natalino that never showed that I was scared to somebody that is not scared anymore at all, as now as I'm speaking and saying all these things for you. I called to my mother, and my mother reminds me about what happened to me and how old we were and all these things. And I was like, oh yeah, good. So I did some ayahuascas with the intuition of healing that trauma. I'm not sure if I healed from that trauma, but I know from the bottom of my heart, and I can tell you that I never did something wrong with my daughter. Thanks to God. Thanks to God. Maybe the energy was hanging around and the thoughts were there, and even if I confess that I played with myself, that I had some thoughts going on that where my daughter were involved, God forgive me, astaghfirullah, and we chased the devils away and all this negativity, but it didn't happen physical in real life. But as you ask me, if you think about it and it happens in your mind, it's almost the same than doing it in real. So anyhow, just by confessing this, I want to show you from the moment I met One Love Caravan that also had a daughter with the same beauty, let us say, as my daughter had. You can always say that a child from 5 or 6 is really beautiful or not so beautiful. Everybody knows, but the most beautiful is just the child itself. Yes. My biggest proof for me, from my healing and my transformation, was committing something like that to One Love Caravan, Danny, Susie and Ashanti. For sure Danny and Susie, where I was speaking to, because I thought they need to know who I am, you know, they need to know where I come from and that I healed from such things. Yeah, this girl was also hanging around me, sitting on my lap, here, and for me that was the biggest proof, because I didn't have any sexual attraction or any sexual things going on or power going on here, that I knew I was a healed man. And as a blessing, and that gave me even more hope in humanity, because I know myself, I know what I did, I know how I thought and what I did and all these things. And as a person now, with all these massive transformations, realizations, connection with nature, disconnection with Babylon, looking out what you see, looking out what you say, looking out what you eat and drink, and all these things, it's all connected. Inclusive going back to your own roots and looking what was going on, you know, and forgiving everyone, forgiving yourself, and all these things has to matter with this massive transformation that we are speaking about, that gave me hope in humanity. And as you know the saying, if you know yourself, you know more than 50% of the world, then I'm also speaking to you now. You that still have this problem maybe going on, and I will tell you that there is hope, that you can transform from this, as you need to commit and need to believe that there is something as jinns, and you need to protect yourself and believe in God and recognize the God inside of you, and the food and all these things, that there is hope in humanity, that you can transform. Yes, man. And this was the confession of Natalino. Pretty detailed for now, as long as you now could listen to. If there are further questions about some things that I maybe forgot to say, or whatever, contact me, please. But this is just the thing that I wanted to show everyone, some things of my past, and I didn't even tell everything, because we would go on, you know. So this was it then. Give thanks, give blessings, breathe, let the negative out, the positive in. Take out of your shoes, connect with the earth, drink natural water if you have the possibility, of at least bless your water and filter your water. Put some crystals inside of it. Stop eating processed food. Stop watching crap on Netflix and on the television, because as you know, lie vision, television, it's a poison. It's something from Babylon. As we now using this weapon for sharing the information and exposing everyone that has to do with this. This is in the name of the healing of the nations, the healing of humanity. Jah Rastafari, Selassie I. We will keep up doing the good works and sharing the information and exposing in the name of the healing of the nations, transforming the evil into the good. As I am a believer that we are ready to live in paradise soon. As I'm not gonna see it in this lifetime, in this form, in this package, inshallah I will see it in my next one. But I'm gonna be part of these movements to not bow down for the Babylon system and shunt it down and transform the evil into the good, as always. Good over evil, Jah Rastafari. MC Lino tuning out, tuning in, inside of the bush. Yes, sir. Give thanks.